In the bottom right-hand corner of the map on Cosmic Sapphire, our blue Protoss player is going to be herO. His opponent in the top left corner is Serral. And we get into a map number 1 of this best of 3 from the Afreeca Champions Cup. Again, we're covering some of the replays from this EPT partnered event, $15,000 tournament that happened just last weekend or so. So, yeah, covering some of these, obviously, amazing players, amazing matches. Just working our way through some of them. Obviously makes a whole ton of sense. And, yeah. Exciting. Yeah, we're coming through. Simulator setting up. It's going to be seeing our probe moving into the main base in the early stages to get a little bit of scouting done. Again, has blocked that natural hatchery once again, so no surprises there. Yeah, we're coming around. Hatch gas pool coming up. I'm just going to be seeing the drone nibbling away at the probe, pushing it back. So far, so good on that one. I'm just going to be seeing our next goes down as well. Hey, what's up, Soporific Gal? How you doing? Thank you so much for the 7-month resub. Appreciate it. Welcome back. Yeah, Nexus, Cybercore, Simulator all coming up. Hatch gas and pool all on the way in. Cosmic Sapphire here for game number 1 of this best 3. As a map, it's actually interesting to see herO let this one come through. It does come through a bit in PvZ now I think of it. I typically think of it as a pretty solid Zerg map. You've got a gold-based option. I think it's quite good for Protoss because when they play that Blink style, if they take that triangular third base, you know, so if you expand over here as herO, you can then push up this direction via the tower with the Blink Stalkers, and that's something we've seen a lot of Protoss players have a pretty good success rate with, so maybe something along those lines. Honestly, not a bad map as well. Pretty good large map too. If you want to talk about a, you know, if you want to talk about it being potentially good for maybe playing some Sky Toss as well. A lot of options. I guess in the end, it's just again you typically think, hey, you know, there's a gold base and there's a lot of bases. Is that not good for Zerg? Yeah, there's definitely things that the Protoss players can enjoy a little bit here this time around as we get our Stargate. Continuing through is going to be up in the very near future. And again, link speed continuing up, the hatchery coming on in. So far, so good. As our couple probes continue to produce, and we just make our way through this for now, guys. Just waiting to see what exactly it's going to be. herO's going to pop out a Voidray. I mean, Serral's playing very standard. I wouldn't say there's anything to point out from his side of things. herO is going to pop a Voidray first. This is something else we've seen being quite popular just recently. You know, just seeing a lot of this kind of Voidray first coming back into fashion. It was not really a thing for quite a while. We really moved away from the Voidrays once they got nerfed completely to just pure Oracle production even. So, yeah, to kind of see a little bit of like a, you know, Voidray first coming out again. And it's not just a one-off thing. We've seen this repeatedly in the last week, 2 weeks of StarCraft. And this is actually a second Voidray as well. I'm actually very interested as to what herO's going to do here. Is there a world he plays double Stargate Void? It's very rare to see double well, to see double Stargate Void, it's almost never seen anymore, but to see double Voidray, a Voidray into an Oracle, but double Voidray? That is interesting. This first Overlord going to get caught, and Serral, I don't think, quite expecting that Overlord to be so far forward at first. So that Overlord is going to initially drop down there. The Voidray 2 will pop, and let's see what the next part of this is. He's rallying something out of it. What's it going to be? Another Voidray does start as well, so yeah, I mean, that's going to be a third Voidray on the way, so I don't think it's going to be a second Stargate at this point, though. I think he's probably takes double gas on the natural. Now, I don't think it's going to be another Stargate, and obviously I'm saying this now, the Twilight and the Forge has gone down. I imagine this is more likely to be a, I was going to say it's not going to be another Stargate, it's just too late for it. I'm struggling because now we've seen what it is, the Twilight and the Forge. But it is 3 Voidrays, which can still be pretty good defensively, and it's the little hit squad, right? So it's like the 3 Voidray hit squad, they play a bit of defense, they can get aggressive if they need to as well. And then you see the Twilight and the Forge, which means that you can obviously play into that Blink and +1, or in this case, you may just not go Blink, you may just go for Charge instead. If you head into Charge, if you head into the attack upgrade, play Immortal Archon behind that is obviously pretty reasonable as well. As you see, the Void is able to grab a Ling or 2. Again, those gateways on the way up, waiting to see what comes off the Twilight Council, especially as the Adepts are going to shade in. Serral will lose a couple of drones to hero's Adepts immediately. Problem is, it's only really Queens chasing those down, so it's not like we're going to get a kill on any of those Adepts. They should shade away. Now, they're going to shade into the main. We do get Lings here to kill one of the Adepts. At the same time, this is a distraction necessary to get the 4th base kill. No cancel. So with a mistake there, not getting a cancel off at the very least, but obviously getting out position with the Adepts pulling the Queens into the natural first, and then the Voids hitting the other base, making quite a bit of difference there. Well, Voids pull back toward the third, just going to be seeing the Blink and the +1 coming up on the side of herO, getting that online. You have the Robobay coming up on the side of him as well, so yeah, in the end he does play that Blink. I was just wondering if it was going to be something a little bit different because of the fact it was, again, the triple VOIDRAY. I wasn't sure what would accompany that well. But yeah, we are still going to be playing the Blink Stalkers, and obviously so far, again, a kill in the 4th base is a nice slowdown. Serral's now playing into Aspire, but, I mean, you're playing into Aspire against someone who's already setting up for the Blink Stalkers and everything, right? So, that's obviously pretty, yeah, that's going to be pretty rough. I do feel like there's nothing you can really build off the Spire. It's going to be great there, although catching the Prism straight away would be amazing. Great catch, great positioning from Serral. I mean, that Prism did kind of just fly right through tower range and kind of gave itself up there. Absolutely no doubt, right? Yeah. Well, melee upgrade, Rogue Speed continuing in. Just going to be seeing that Spire about to complete. As the Disruptor production starts up as well from herO. That's the kind of game we're going to be seeing. Serral is finding a couple of probes. Just little bits of Ling harass over on the other side of the map, finding a way in to deal some amounts of damage here. Roach Speed is not far from finishing, and the melee upgrade is obviously on its way too. What a little game, right? Going to be Stalker, Disruptor, playing against kind of like a melee-heavy style of Serral. Obviously going to be kind of Ling Roach, but obviously should be seeing an addition of Banes at some stage of this as well. And still has got these VOIDRAYS controlling the map quite nicely from herO, giving across, getting rid of some of these creep tumors, just slowing down Serral's presence and just ability to move around the map in general. Obviously, you get rid of creep spread, you're getting rid of, you know, just kind of vision on the map, and again, mobility on the map as well, so it goes a long way to helping. As the VOIDRAYS is going to grab themselves a creep tumor once again, and like I said, that's just what they've been up to this entire time, just a little bit of chip damage here and there, just slowly working their way through, and obviously pulling these queens around a bit as well. Now, we do see mutas on the way. 7 of them built, 3 more building. The mutas can be great if they can counterattack here and obviously get past this group of stalkers and everything and just get into the mineral lines. What I'm worried about for the mutas is you are building mutas in a world where, yeah, I mean, you're building mutas in a world in which you are obviously kind of up against stalkers. But that's what it comes down to, right? If the mutas can hit as a distraction just like this, then they should actually still be pretty darn good. They should be still pretty okay with this. 8 workers so far. The mutas continuing around. They're going to go hide in the corner. At the same time now, Serral's doing a bit of what herO was doing. herO's pulling Serral one way, then going the other. Now we're going to see herO being pulled one way, and then Serral going the other. Nice little plan right there is just going to be seeing our mutas, though, end up pulling back. Things and roaches through the middle of the map, and just going to be seeing the charge and the +2 attack upgrade continue to come on down. Because Ling's going to get straight through here, just going to be seeing the mutas going to go after some of these stalkers. We're going to get the prism there as well. They come back home, so that's a nice little catch. Serral just trying to play this disruption game, getting right in the center of this mineral line. Probes going down. Stalker's going down. The VOIDRAYS trying to come through to get a little extra done. The muta's going to peel away to the main base, where they can get rid of the battery and get rid of a few additional probes as well. So continuing through that for the moment, as our Lings and Roaches are going to be over there and picking their way through this cannon. This has been bad for herO defending the 4th, and obviously down 20 probes. The muta's now getting a chance to pick away at the VOIDRAYS. The Phoenix that's there, not going to be great. The Disruptor shots kind of miss. And now blowing up his own Zealot and his own pylon, not exactly ideal. And of course, the mutas just have free reign to maybe head elsewhere right now, so they can go and do that as our Mutalisks pick away at a few additional probes. They continue to drop. 29 workers now killed. herO is looking more than just worse for wear in this game. He is honestly somewhat looking down and out. He doesn't have the army anymore. Serral's taking complete control. I was questioning the Mutas. I was not convinced about the Mutalisks. But boy, have these Mutalisks been fantastic. They absolutely set Serral up for huge success in this. And they have brought him to a Game 1 victory in this best of 3 as herO taps out and Serral starts up by 1. Losing out to the Mutalisks. In the top right-hand side is our blue Protoss player, herO. Boy, I honestly felt he was having such a good time in that game. You know, killing the 4th base early and all the rest. Felt like he was controlling it. He just never found out about the Mutas. And Mutas can be just such a disruption. And they really were. And Serral just realized, hey, I got a bit of an edge off this. And he's like, man, I can double down on these Mutas. I can build more. I can keep on going with them. I can make a lot happen. He did all of that, and quite frankly, it worked out extremely well for him as herO is in the top right, and Serral is in the bottom left of Game 2 on Data C. Let's see if Serral can capitalize on his 1-0 lead, close out this series. Well, if herO will fight back, try and make this a game number 2. Game number 3. We are in game number 2. No attempt to block the hatchery on the natural this time around, so this time we do have the hatchery straight onto the natural, no third base location required. That means that herO has yet to scout in this game, so without that scouting information, is playing a little bit blindly here. There's one thing to keep in mind, guys. You're not quite playing with the information you usually would have. If Serral wants to abuse that, maybe he could. Nexus goes down to the natural from herO, and he's ready to pop down the Cyber Core straight after as well, so just nice, quick little build opening from herO. Quick gas. And just getting himself all set up. Overlord will go wandering forward, and it's going to be investigating a little bit. We'll see scouting out early, just seeing what is up at the front, see what's going on. Everything's coming around, Lingspeed coming up, a couple drones, couple queens on the way out. And look at here with the opening of the robo facilities, so doing things a little bit differently here this time around. And again, that robo up and running. Get that robo up, obviously gives you a good chance to get a prism out, get an observer out. Obviously, a prism and a couple of harassing adepts are the most common way to go here. This could also be a robo bay. It's kind of hidden in the back to be just kept away. The only other idea I have, and this is something we don't see a lot, is maybe like an Immortal All-In or something like really a bit wild. Just because it's hidden in the back so much, like he really wants to not be seen, which makes me just feel a bit more as though we're going to be seeing something a bit funky out of it. And that is going to be the Robo Bay apparently this time around. So there we go. Robo Bay sets up. That's going to be the plan. And yeah, I would imagine a Disruptor base drop here to set up, and maybe you could go Disruptor drop into one Colossus in that push. That was the Zound build for a while, and it has been used again here and there. Not super common nowadays, but again, can be seen every so often. Hey, thank you so much. Before we get further along, Zergiel for the 5 gifted subs to me, Yoshi, Ikiria Agayati, Mio Gato, Alucard HS, GG Harvester. Thank you so much, Zergiel, for the generous 5 gifted subs. I appreciate it, mate. Thank you so much. And Marco Pro 211 on the 4-month resub on the Prime. AAA on the message. BBB right back to you. Thanks for the subs, guys. Appreciate the support. Is Disruptor. We're going to go Twilight Council. It's not going to be necessarily just a robo-based all-in or anything. This is going to... Still a lot of gateways, though. Maybe you get Charge and you just spam gates here. Charge doesn't really bode well, though, when you're going with Charge and Disruptors, right? Because the Disruptors, obviously, will typically then clip the Zealots that are running forward. Prism coming across, Disruptor inside of that Prism. That's going to be seen now. Gateways continue to produce. Now we're building an Immortal. Wow, it's going to turn into like an Immortal Charger line off of a Disruptor drop. To be fair, that's very weird and not quite what you usually expect to see, so I can kind of understand it as our Disruptor comes across here. The Queens making their way through, and they are just going to come by. This Disruptor's going to go for some drones and is going to find a chunk of them. 4 workers going down. You obviously want to get some damage done here, so you know your follow-up attack can be effective enough. Have enough of an advantage going in. We have got a lot of Zealots already building on the other side of the map. First 5 just warped in, and there's more gates come online. We'll have a lot more of them continuing to come through here. Queen and the Spore hit the Prism, and the Prism low HP. It's just going to have to be careful. Obviously, you want this Prism alive. You need the Prism alive as well eventually. Don't be forgetting that. Disruptor comes through. I'm going to grab a drone and just going to be seeing our Queens there once again ready to push the Prism back and to keep it zoned out. But this attack is about to arrive. Serral's preparation, 55 drones honestly might be a few too many. Drones cutting a bit sooner might have been a bit better. 55 drones maybe means he even has to pull some drones. The problem is Zealots can be so overwhelming in this phase of the game. It's so tough to break through those Zealots, right? As see the Lings trying to get a wraparound on some of the other units on the back end. I like the idea there, but man, all the Roaches have already just melted, and that Immortal is going to die. I think Zealots might still be just too strong here, though. Let's see. And Serral is obviously going to have to deal with the reinforcing warp-ins, but I guess it will just be Zealots. Serral has 12 Roaches on the way. And it depends where those Roaches are going to be sat, as the Ravagers get caught by the reinforcing Zealots. I guess the big issue is, again, yeah, just I guess Roaches are going to be coming from every which angle. We might win out in the natural. And so far, we're doing okay to the right-hand side as well, just a little bit. Another Disruptor shot lands for a couple of Roaches. And all the Roach Ravage on the right side is getting completely pushed away. We get rid of the Disruptor, at least. That's obviously one of the bigger issues. If you don't get rid of that, it can become quite problematic, as our Zealots will go through. The Queens will go down. Too much from herO? Question mark? I mean, it's still pretty close. Serral's still microing around with these few Roaches. A couple drones being lost, obviously missing a lot of mining time with those drones that have to run between bases so far. And here's yet another warp. And then again, these Roaches on the side, they're getting separated away from their own reinforcements, so it becomes very difficult to do much about, right? And then those Roaches, yeah, they're kiting and they're doing a decent job, but everything else can start to cause chaos in the bases at the same time when you're paying attention to that as Serral, and that obviously could paint a bit of an issue across the board for you there. Another round of Zealots warping in. A new Disruptor shows up, actually, and boom, gets just a single Roach, but scares the Roaches off a little bit. Like I said earlier, I was kind of surprised about the, Roach, not the Roach, sorry, the Disruptor Zealot combo, because like I said, Disruptors have a chance of clipping Zealots a lot if they're trying to hit units, and the Zealots are trying to surround units, right? Let's keep on moving forward here, and just going to be seeing the Roaches trying to get on top of the Disruptors. One of them already pushing those Roaches back. Zealots get straight up into the natural. This might be the point at which Serral really falls into trouble, because now the Disruptors do have, yeah, a lot more firepower, and they've got a lot more position to play with as well. The drones are already pulling, and 10 have gone down. I think this is where herO just has too much. It's been too much of a scrambling defense here throughout. As Disruptor goes down the ramp, Roaches will be chased around. Again, you gotta be so careful. You can see these Disruptors always hitting so many of the Zealots. Would be obviously completely disastrous, as GG is gonna get called, and herO is gonna get to bring us to a game 3 of this series. Just like that. Alrighty guys, as we get ready for game number 3, let's get the games going. Thanks for sending through some ads. As I welcome you to the bottom left-hand side of Tropical Sacrifice here. Blue Protoss player evening it up with some funky stuff in that last game, right? Not quite the build you're expecting to see. It is going to be herO in the bottom left corner. Of course, his opponent then is in the top right, our Red Zerg player, Serral. It's been a while since I casted some Serral games, actually. We don't cast him in World Team League and stuff, and he doesn't play in too much stuff. I don't think I really got to cast him much when we did DreamHack regionals either, so yeah, kind of enjoying catching some Serral replays here. Always nice, as we do set ourselves up on this game number 3. Hat-trick goes down on the natural expansion. And just going to be seeing no block allowed for herO. It was a 16 hatch to enable it to be quick enough to make that work. Let's see Afro taking a little bit of a nibble. The hatch just continuing through is going to be pool before gas as well. So just going to sneak that down straight away here. That pool rolling. The hero's just going to expand Nexus before the core again. Pretty much what we've been seeing from earlier on as well. Let's get this going. Is DreamHack Atlanta going to be happening every year? No. We don't have any information about DreamHack events for next year. I would imagine if it's a success this year, they might stick with the same locations for next year if they have DreamHack events next year. But I guess it really depends on how viewership and stuff goes for this time around. Or maybe they have a more favored American destination next year for an American-based event. So yeah, I guess we shall see. It's the Cybernetics core coming in from herO. Just going to be seeing our probe coming down to the low ground. Going to be seeing the probes just rallying about. Just going to go build a robo once again. So here we're going to open in a similar way. As he kind of opens in a similar way, I somewhat wonder what the plan may become. Obviously, you can set up in a similar way, but then do something very different. And I would almost expect that to be kind of the choice here is our robo facility. Just coming up past the halfway marker being done. Obviously, we'll see if Serral can spot that as well. It's positioned in a way that's difficult to scout. The Overlord has to dive all the way through the natural and into that main base to be able to spot it. So, see if Serral figures it. And like I say, very intrigued to see exactly what it is that herO opts to go for here. Tropical Sacrifice as a map is a pretty nice macro map. It's just going to be a Robo Bay straight away. Even beyond the Robo Bay, though, right? Because the Robo Bay, I think, as well, you could look at and say, okay, cool, Robo Bay, we're going to get in towards the Disruptor drop again. But after the Robo Bay and the Disruptor drop, is it still a charge Disruptor all in? Or do we play a bit more of a macro focus this time? Do we add a Colossus and get a bit funky with that? Lots of possibilities, I'm sure. Interesting. Robo Bay is about to finish, and again, just Prism already coming through. I'm excited. hero's a very creative player. Always was a very creative player, and this is the kind of stuff that helps you to kind of be like, oh, cool, you can do that kind of stuff, right? Like, that's different. I always think that's very fun as we do have our Rotron is coming up on the side of Serral, so just getting some preparations made. Just Disruptor on the way, and the Gravitic Drive is on the way through. So, again, Disruptor drop. Getting set for the moment. Gonna follow one piece again with the Twilight Council, and the third Nexus will go down from herO. Wants to protect this with the Adept. The probe does go down to the Lings. The Ling is able to grab that at the very least. Now a Disruptor is continuing through, and the Gravitic Drive about to finish. So we're gonna have that Disruptor drop will be sped up. Stalker gets in, Overlord gets picked off. I'm just going to be seeing a few Adepts continuing down this bottom side. Now we do have this Prism coming on through here, and just going to be having the Disruptor going to fire in. Just going to grab a single drone, and the Queen's looking for the Prism there, not quite able to make it. Not just yet, at least, as we do see the Blink continuing through as well. Just keeping on going with that. And yeah, just very different to the last game then, obviously. And I think that was pretty much an expectation. I think doing the exact same thing a second time, Serral is way too good to fall for the same thing twice. You know, his preparation would have been better. His drone cut would have been much sooner, so he would have had more units originally as well. Prism getting across over toward the natural, but being zoned pretty well. Obviously, Serral wants to stay on top of that. He's going to opt for the Spire. Spire could be nice, because obviously the Spire could be a way to deny the Prism almost guaranteed here, continuing through. So that's definitely going to be one option, I think, at the very beginning of this, as our Lings surround and pick away at that Stalker. Just going to be seeing the couple Stalkers and a Sentry picking their way through this Overlord as well, so Overlord will go down. And here we go, Disruptor shots firing. Serral, ooh, does lose the double Queen, so the Disruptor's able to connect in on that. So that's going to be a nice little grab. Obviously, 2 Queens is pretty decent. Serral is going to start banking cash for the Mutal as soon as we get over here. herO's heavily supply blocked, and he's losing all of the pylons he was starting to build to get out of that supply block. They were all in the same place, so that's kind of fun. Serral's actually supply blocked too, though, so everyone's having a little bit of a supply block issue at the moment. Disruptor shots come in, gonna land on the Queen, gets it. And 2 Disruptors peeling off away over to the sides. Just for now, gonna be hanging out and, like I say, the Prism just trying to find its chance to get more damage done, if at all possible. The Disruptor shot, making a second one. Ravagers and Roaches have to back away. Just going to see the Prism loading up both those Disruptors here, and just going to see the couple of Lings getting picked off. Here comes herO. I mean, he's pretty committed, right? I mean, you look at what he's setting up for. No Forge, no later game establishment at all. Disruptors coming through, getting a couple shots on the Ravagers, and this army of herO continues up this ramp, and in we go. Force of Baals coming through, Stalkers blinking around. Just going to be seeing the Banes ready to run forward here as well. Disruptor's going to hit a couple of the Ravagers, and Serral, is he going to have enough to keep himself going against this? He didn't get any Corrosive Baals on the Prism, but now he will go for them, and oh, he only had one available for the Queens! Finish it off, those Mutas as well, sorry, finishing off the Prism, so no more Warp-ins from here on out. The Mutas are going to start sending themselves across the map. There's only 5, but start to apply some pressure. Obviously not really much use in the fight against these Stalkers. By going across the map, you're going to force some defensive units. You're going to force maybe even a distraction enough for these Stalkers to stop. Supply just plummet for herO in this. So obviously losing the Prism, losing the Disruptors. Puts him in a weird spot. It's only Stalkers for himself, and he's got no immediate preparation for the Mutas, which show up now on the other side. We're going to recall those Stalkers. Serral starts to get out of the way so that the initial blink isn't just going to get straight on top of these Mutas. And he's not going to get greedy either. He knows just get what I can, get what I can take for free, basically. And then just get out. Don't lose too much. 9 probes is nice damage. And of course, again, he's basically reset his opponent's tech tree to basically Stalkers. So it's not ideal at all here. For herO, he's going to be in a spot of bother, in fact, at this moment in time, as we see a few Lings going to slip back down to the bottom side. A Nexus in the front from herO. That's a fun place to put the Nexus, isn't it? Not quite where you immediately expect it to be most of the time, but if you want to play, I guess, a game where you're going to be pushing forward a lot, it helps you to defend. Serral is going to start doubling down on more Mutalisks, so more of those in production. He'll lose one more here as he came back into that natural and ended up being pushed away. There's not many cannons coming up from herO. I thought he'd have more cannons coming into the mineral lines to really kind of help deal with the Mutalisk threat. Not really happening as the Bane's going to go waddle into this base. No response at all. herO's busy at the front. 13 probes go down. Yeah, this main army was busy fighting, so he was paying attention there and not where he should have been. As Ling, Roach, Ravager continues to settle down right now. Army of herO coming back around the left. Ling's just going to sneak their way into this mineral line. Couple probes in trouble. A couple Zealots get warped in. Disruptor is about to pop out on the side of herO as well. So get that going as into the front we go. Corrosive Baals come down. Pylon gets dropped. And now Lings, Roaches, Banes start to press on forward here. Just going to be seeing those Zealots continue to drop. And not going to be having our Stalkers Yeah, probes, everything just dying. There's mutas in the main base as well, by the way, so multi-prong all-star is Serral, as he looks to be a little bit too much in this one. Oh, it's a massive disruptor shot, mind you. I mean, that was amazing, but enough to completely turn this around? Absolutely not. Serral will be plentiful in terms of units available to himself, and he is going to grab himself this this third game victory, but the first match for himself in this group puts him into the winner's match against MaxPax. herO drops to the lower elimination match against herO. Those are obviously more games we have to take a look at some point, so awesome stuff. This group is just stacked, quite frankly.